Hi everybody, Christy Edmonds here. It is profound to be here. This is the greatest Monday of the earth every year for 50 years. To Judy, everybody at Dance Space, my God, you do the work. You do the work. I'm sitting here and thinking, before I start talking about the absolutely phenomenal woman, Linda Greenberg, when I first met her, Brumbach now. I just want to say that I'm looking around this room in this time, in this way, in this both homecoming and sanctuary, because it's like looking at what we understand we are now. We are the official emergency response system for the essential humanness of our time. And we know that to be true. We're a firmament for what is most precious, most fierce and poetic, to move things. The gift of our creative capacities stays powerfully in motion because we move it forward. So we know what our job is. And in doing this job, I think about Linda. And to just share for a second here, I met Linda as an artist who was, at the time, revolutionizing short silent film in black and white and projecting it on railroad cars, okay? So I had a profound future in front of me in that creative expression. Seriously, I first met Linda when I had taken a job as an artist at an art museum in Portland, Oregon. And I was given the dubious job of creating a performing arts program at this museum that really had no mechanism for living artists to even get on a plane. It was all about objects and collections of things. It was not the ephemeral. It was not the evanescent. It was not the living. It was the reinterpreting of what once was being made meaningful into a future. I was 25. My hair was black. So was Linda's. Now it's kind of not that. She invited me to come and see Koyaanisqatsi live at the Moore Theater in Seattle. And she told me, meet me at the backstage artist entrance, a thing that at that time in my life I really didn't know what even was. And that is where I met Phil Glass later when they invited me to dinner, and that is where, quintessentially, I realized that my artistic contribution might be the grand collaboration of working in a field of practice that I never even knew existed. And she introduced me to it, and she took me through it, as she has with many of us. By the end of that dinner, my life had actually changed, and I had no way of forging a path through it. She was also my guide. She was my guide to understanding subway situations when I came to New York, what arts presenters is, APAP, various things that we've all participated in. If you look at what this woman, as an independent, creative producer, has done, it is the thing that we often say to audiences. We do have a job as a society together in this temporary moment in time. That job together is to make a memory. She has worked to manifest cultural memories of some of the most iconic projects that live in that independent, creative space, tenaciously, for the 21st century. I'm just saying. When I first met Linda, it was black-haired and it was pre-Marty. It was pre-Jonah and Molly. And it was also with Helen, her mom, who's here tonight. And I have had the extraordinary blessing of being able to watch that creative producer who stands in front of artists who are in the quintessential pursuit of finding form and the resources for it. Finding form is everything. Finding timing for that form is kind of everything. She has always had a knack for the finding of form, the perpetual love of our field. She gives service to the field. She extends herself beyond and beyond. She created a business model called Pomegranate Arts. She made a team with her team that I know that she would honor more than she would herself. I remember when she was getting ready to leave IPA, she was obsessed with artists having health care. She was obsessed with education in the schools. She was obsessed with all the things that we had no possible resourcing strategy for. And yet, we stood up and awake to that passionate being, aiming at the North Star of the righteous and right way of living creative lives so that they could sustain. She always stands behind the artists who are making work that we need before we know we need it. Which all of you as artists in this room know what that is. You're just trying to find form. You're just trying to find meaning. You're just trying to pump your love inside of society so that we can be awake to ourselves in particular ways. If you can join with Pomegranate Arts and Linda Brumbach, that finding of form becomes the highest and truest best of what you could not do without this accompaniment. Accompaniment is humble. It is that. To accompany visionary possibilities to dream, to accompany from the back, the rear, and moving forward, to build the lily pad so the work can land in advance of it, and to yank all of us up inside of our professions and go, we didn't think we could do it, but somehow Linda made sure that we knew we could. There's a thing that I just want to end with here before Linda comes up. And again, I'm thinking about your family. How much, I mean, come on, you guys. To raise kids in this environment, to raise kids that are the singular source of your love, to build a kind of bearing of witness across a whole world, a set of cultures, everything, and then somehow miraculously make it back in time to get some chicken noodle soup on the door. You know? Here's the thing we do, and here's the thing that she champions. The nature of a work of art is to be not a part, nor a copy of the real world as we commonly understand the term, but a world in itself, independent, complete, autonomous in the sense of being liberated. And to possess it fully, you must enter that world, conform to its laws and its love, and suspend for the time the beliefs, aims, and particular conditions which belong to you in the other world of reality. Along with it, and what belongs to you after, is to become expanded because of what was made, because of what was expressed, because of what was truth, and what was labored over in the pursuit of form so that we could hear and see differently again. And then give it again. Linda, you have woven some of the most indelible indelible memories with artists, communities across the country and the world. You are a staggering weaver. A staggering, indefatigable weaver. You make sure that the gift of artists stays in motion so it stays powerful. Congratulations, Rebel Angel. We love you.
She's close.
Jesus Christ, the most challenging task in life is speaking after Christy Edmonds. Last year I actually had the honor of introducing Christy when she was Rebel Angel with Kyle Abraham and Carol Mullins, and it was extremely calming for me to know that I could speak after her, not so much tonight. So congratulations, Judy and the entire team at Dance Space on your 50th, and to Meredith and Kevin, two amazing artists being celebrated. I started to create a list of people I wanted to thank tonight, but if I did that, as Hal Wilner would say, we will be here until Hanukkah. So many of the cultural caretakers in this room are doing the work, taking the risks, saying yes, and imparting wisdom in the field. And I would not be standing here tonight with at least half of the people in this room, including the spirit of Sam Miller and the very present Philip Glass, who inspired me to start Pomegranate Arts. And anyone who knows me or has worked with Pomegranate understands that I do not do it alone. My longtime producing partner, Elisa Riguez, she's been by my side through the entire history of the company. She grounds me, guides me, and in the high wire act that we are often trying to pull off, provides balance. She is the yang to my yang. Thank you, Elisa. And we are truly blessed to work with the most dedicated, talented team you could wish for. Caleb, Rachel, Jeremy, Flo, and Elena. Thank you. My mom is here tonight just before her 94th birthday. And she took every opportunity to expose me to the arts, opening my mind as a young child to all the power and understanding that they bring to our lives. And Marty, my life partner, who dusts his creative magic and goodness on every production, on stage and off. A little over 25 years ago, I was working in the UK and attended a workshop of a new production called Shock-Headed Peter. It was a junk opera based on children's cautionary tales. It had a delicate jewel box set, a Brechtian punk band, and multiple intricate puppets, some of them naked and bloody. There were complex visas to tend to, a robust production and design team, and years of planning. It was definitely a bit risky for everyone involved, but we were determined to produce and tour this work in America. As the tour was about to premiere, I got a panic phone call from my production manager. The freight had arrived in the wrong city. I would never get through customs in time for opening night. I ran into the office early that morning to see if I could mitigate the situation, and what I anticipated was going to be the worst day of my professional career and possibly an abrupt end to Pomegranate Arts. That morning was Tuesday, September 11, 2001. I watched out my window as the planes hit the towers. All of our priorities changed that day. In the aftermath of that true crisis, we in the arts knew we had to recommit ourselves to work that fosters empathy and understanding. The presenters and artists all came together to find a path forward with us, and eventually we got the work out into the world, and it mattered. I started my career in the 80s in the midst of the AIDS crisis, working with Diamanda Galas on her plague mass, a requiem for people with AIDS. Many political and religious forces were trying to shut it down, but we pressed on and it mattered. And then in the 90s, I was working with Karen Finley on We Keep Our Victims Ready, a work that became one of the lightning rods triggering the culture wars with the NEA-4. Our field found a way through again, and it mattered. And when our world shuddered during the pandemic, and so many loved ones were lost, we found creative ways to get the art to the people, because this work we do matters. And now we face a new crisis, as powerful forces seek not just to censor individual artists, but to decimate our entire cultural ecosystem. They seek to weaken our American arts institutions, strangle the international exchange of culture, and harden our hearts against the power, empathy, and understanding that flow from this work we do. And yet, here we are on a Tuesday night in the East Village, celebrating amazing artists and 50 years of groundbreaking work at Dance Space. Tonight's theme of sanctuary resonates deeply with me, because what is important here is not that we are celebrating, but that we are here, gathering, connecting, empathizing, planning. One of my favorite Taylor Mack quotes, yes, Taylor, one of my favorite Taylor Mack quotes during our production of his 24-decade history of popular music is this: "We are not going to worship the creator, but the art of creation. We won't worship the noun, but the verb." And now more than ever, our togetherness needs to be a deliberate, ongoing, constant action of creation. Sanctuary is not created by walls, but by our ongoing act of creating, sharing, empathizing, and protecting. Let's all commit to stay in the verb. Let's keep creating community and art for ourselves and our world. Let us be the act of sanctuary. Thank you for this honor tonight.